Hello, welcome to another special Sudoku setting video. Uh, I am going to continue, you know, creating this puzzle. Um, I have basically everything as a sketch done. I need to figure out the details still, which I hope to do now. And then there's only testing. First thing I saw or noticed is that if I were to make this blue, then that would have to be orange to avoid a 2x2, and then we create a checkerboard pattern. So that has to be orange, which means that has to be blue, which does mean that that is our 7, and this is our 1-6 pair. Then remove 7 from that as an option. So that's something. Then I noticed that like these are all low digits. So what I thought was interesting is this, right? Because if you think about it, is there a way to make it 2x2 basically? So if we add 7 plus 1, we can never create 8 with those digits. So that's not the case. So we know that these are the same color and this is the different color. So those cannot both be blue, so they have to be orange. That has to be orange and that has to be blue. Now that has to be orange as well. Okay, so now I have an idea, because this is an odd digit, right? So I need at least one more odd digit, because you need to have an even number of odd digits in the cage. Otherwise you have a problem. And the problem of that is that then one sum would be odd and the other sum would be even. If if both sums are odd, you basically have one odd digit in one odd digit extra in the other. So then it's still in the cage an even number of odd digits. So what I mean by that is this is even, so one of those must be even, so one of those must be a 2, so that's a 1. So we already know that this is a 2-3 pair, which makes that a 4, and makes that a 9. Placing a 9 there, placing a 9 there. And then I think I recognize this pattern, right? I think there's also some Sudoku that we probably could do. Yeah, 5, 7. One of those was a 5, so that's not a 5. So that's not a 5. What am I missing? Neither of those is 8. So that's a 6. So that's a 7 and a 6. So that's a 6. So that's a 3, that's a 2, 1, 4. This might fill in the whole puzzle. Yeah, okay, so that's a 4, a 2, a 2, an 8, a 4. So one of those is a 4. One of those is a 4. What am I missing? It's a 4 there. So neither of those is a 4. Is this all still going right? I think it is. 3. 3 not there, not there, so that's a 3. So that's a 3. So that's a 3, a 2, a 2, and an 8. Now 7. 7. What am I missing? It is 1. So that's a 1-4 pair, which creates a pattern. I can see that now. Oh, so that's our 8. The final 8, 7, and 2. All right. So we were left off at this. Now, is there anything else? Okay, so I recognize this pattern, right? Because, right, like I said, I have everything sketched out what I think it is, but I need to work through it more specifically. Because this can either unfold like this as orange or like this, because it depends on the color of this, right? If this is this, then we do this, which breaks. So we know that this is blue, that is orange, and that is orange. This is all true, and it must all be true. Now, this cage, I counted, I went through 39 redraws of this cage because I wanted a singular cage to fix and the yin yang coloring and the digits, and I wanted to force the solver to do the yin yang coloring first. So I was experimenting with 2 different cages, one for the coloring, forcing the coloring, and then forcing the digits, but I just didn't like it, so I ended up with this. And I think this resolves. The sum of all of these digits is 7, 14, then 8, 8, 16, so 30 in total. So we need to make a sum of 15. Now, this 8 is orange, so we need 7 more together with this 8 in orange. Can we do just a 7? No, because then those would all be blue, and we have a 2 by 2, so that doesn't work. So the 7 is a different color, so 7 is blue. Now, can the 5 belong to the 8? If that's the case, then we have 13. We need 2 more, so then that's orange, and then all of this is blue and that breaks, so no. So this is blue. Now we cannot form a 2 by 2. That has to be blue. Now we need 1 more in blue and 7 more in orange. So this has to be orange. Now we cannot form a checkerboard pattern, so we do this, we do this. And now we can fill in all the coloring. This has to connect to the rest of orange through there. This has to connect to the rest of blue, and it goes through there. And now we can do 11 plus 4 is 15, and that makes 15. That's a 6, that's a 1, that's a 4, that's a 6. I really like that resolution. Like I said, after 39 redraws, I was expecting to have to redo either this cage or even go back further. But no. The way this resolves, I think, is a perfect ending to the puzzle. So let's start. Because of the start and this, where the maximum minimum is basically so important. I thought, that reminds me of tension, and I like alliteration, so I had as a name Taste the Tension, which I really liked. Now, normal Sudoku rules apply. Place the digits 1 through 9 in every row, column, and box. And then we have yin yang. Normal Sudoku rules apply, and I want it to be this. I think that's prettier. Shade some cells such that all shaded, such that no shaded or unshaded cells form a 2 by 2. And each consists of one orthogon connected region. I am going to double check my spelling in a bit because I'm not sure. Shade some cells such that no shaded or unshaded cells form a 2x2 and each consists of one orthogonally connected region. I think that's clear enough. Cages. Shaded cells within a cage sum to the sum of the unshaded cells within that cage. Shaded cells within a cage sum to the sum of the unshaded cells within that cage. It's not perfect. It's not a perfect wording. Cages. Shaded cells within a cage sum to the sum of the unshaded cells within that cage. Have the same sum. I'm going to reword that. Shaded cells within a cage have the same sum as the unshaded cells within that cage. You are very, very cool. Okay, let's see. Normal Sudoku rules apply. Place the digits 1 through 9 in every row, column, and box. Yin Yang. Shade some cells such that no shaded or unshaded cells form a 2x2 and each consists of one orthogonally connected region. Cages. Shaded cells within a cage have the same sum as unshaded cells within that cage. Yeah, that's it. And I think that's the puzzle. I am going to link the Sudoku pad in the description. Once I've created the Logic Masters Germany page, I will link that as well. But that will maybe take a bit. But yeah, thank you for watching this and have a nice day.